Welcome back to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. You're overlooking the Norwalk River in Merwin Meadows Park in Wilton, where the Mianus chapter of Trout Unlimited is in the midst of a project. It spans a few stretches of this river. It was recently done in Greenwich. It's going to be done in Fairfield, right at the eastern border soon on the Mill River. And it's a project we talked about around the holidays last year, where your old Christmas trees can find new life as part of the habitat in these rivers. Jeff Yates of Mianus Trout Unlimited and TU's National Director of Volunteer Operations just took a few minutes to explain to us what's going on.
Go. So what we're doing here with Trout Unlimited is building what's called a point bar in the Norwalk River. And one of the challenges we've had with the recent flooding events that we've had in the last decade is the river is eroded really wide. Typically this river channel should be about 10 feet wide and about 2 to 3 feet deep on average, but because of the erosion over time from storms like Sandy and Irene and others, it's eroded in this spot to almost 40 feet wide, which means in the summer, in August like this, when the water is low, it ends up being very shallow and very wide. So the point bar is simply moving cobble, river cobble, from one side to the other and creating a shallow, low bench on the other side of the river to encourage deeper current on the far side of the river. This helps create habitat for the trout, places that they can hide from predators and make it through the heat of the summer, the 2 or 3 weeks in August and early September, when it's really difficult to survive in these small local streams. That was the Beardsley kids that filled in that spot down there and built that little structure earlier. So later on this month we'll actually come back, and along the far bank on this side we'll put in what's called the conifer revetment, and those are pine trees that we anchor along the eroded bank. They help stabilize the bank for prevent future erosion, and they'll actually build soil. It's almost out to where I'm standing. Within the next 5 to 10 years will be soil that we can then plant and then have more canopy and cover.
And that soil's going to wash in naturally with the current.
Absolutely. So the way the conifer revetments work is you stake the trees in and then you wait for a flood. And when the river floods, as the water travels down through those thick pine branches, it slows the current. And as that slow current happens, the sediment and small debris that's floating downstream gets trapped, and that builds up the natural soils.
Now, last year you did a collection of discarded natural Christmas trees. Is a similar event planned this holiday season?
Absolutely. Last year we collected over 500 Christmas trees. They're in the woods behind us. Hopefully in the next few weeks we'll drag a big portion of those down here to the river, anchor them in, and then next year in January, after your Christmas tree is done its service in your living room, you can bring it here, make a small donation to Trout Unlimited, and we'll use it here in the river to make better habitat for trout.
And in addition to the work being done here on the Norwalk River, similar work being planned on the Mill River in Fairfield?
On the Mill River in Fairfield, we just finished a very similar project on the Mianus River in Stamford, and we are looking to do a project on the East Aspetuck River up in New Milford, similar as well.
And all of these will involve the conifer.
Yeah, the conifer revetments. Yes, absolutely. It's one of the best ways we have to easily engage people in the community in fixing the river.
So keep an eye on your local websites and our shows. We'll let you know when they're going to be collecting the Christmas trees, which will typically be early to mid-January. They'll also need volunteers for some of this work that's coming up in September and later on in the fall. So watch future shows for that, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.